Here's the thing. The UK's mainstream media, no, the world's mainstream media is obsessed with demonising the e-scooter.
The scooter craze. Need I say more?
The scooters are illegal and a public nuisance.
These scooters run amok.
They are illegal and my officers will stop them.
Honestly, I can't get my head around it. It's like they're getting e-scooters confused with e, which of course are very different things. Yet, at the same time, proper grown-up high street retailers like Halfords are making a decent wedge selling e-scooters, recording a 450% rise in sales in October alone, which we're all for. But it can't be all the landed gentry riding their personal scooters on private land. I've got a sneaking feeling that the people en masse have decided e-scooters are a solution. We thought it was time to take a proper look at why the rise of the e-scooter is absolutely here to stay.
Stand here for an hour by Stratford Station and you'll see countless scooters riding up and down the streets. E-scooters have exploded in popularity here, with people from all walks of life investing in the tech.
So we hit up our mates at Personal Electric Transport, a local e-scooter retailer in the area who've experienced the influx of e-ride sales in 2020 firsthand. I've come to chat to Mark, who's one of the leading heads here at the store.
So when we started a few years ago, it was very niche. Future spotters, innovators, tech geeks, people who wanted the next thing. And then I think as people realized that it could be a solution for them to get to work or whatever, it became very much about working people who were sick of trains being late, sick of crowded buses, who jumped on these. I mean, especially when the weather turned good, you know, it was a way for people to get to work. I mean, especially for people working shifts and 0-hour contracts. It's very, very convenient. There was a boom in online retail, I think, as soon as people kind of got locked down.
As the pandemic took grip of the country, it was East London that was one of the worst hit through the first wave. Newham, Stratford's London borough, recorded the worst mortality rate in England and Wales.
It's a bit scary getting to a bus with like 50 people, everyone sitting down next to each other, not knowing if someone's got something.
As soon as people realised that going on buses and trains wasn't a particularly good idea, people were looking for solutions, and as people know, this is a viable solution. I mean, the other side of it, it's become very, very popular amongst sort of young adults, especially boys wanting stuff like this, obviously. I've seen a big kind of scooter scene, like people getting really into it in a similar way that in the 60s they got into scooters and Vespers.
The French capital was the early adopter of electric scooters, and they quickly found their way into Paris Fashion Week in 2018, with the likes of Winnie Harlow papped on a lime, designer Andreas Kronthaler using Enokim scooters to be used on the runway at Vivienne Westwood's show, and designer duo Maxwell Osborne and Dao Yi Chao collabing with Xiaomi with a limited edition design. In just a few years, e-scooters have infiltrated popular culture, street culture, and youth culture. Washington is a young 20-something who took his interest in e-rides one step further and joined the Personal Electric Transport team to play a part in the new wave. I wanted to get his take on the rapid growth of electric scooter usage.
It definitely appealed to my thrill-seeking side, you know, the kid inside of me. And it's undeniable, you see so many young people using like Xiaomis and scooters of that nature. So it's clear, it's out there, you know, youth love e-scooters. Because I feel like there's such a overlap between youth culture and just the functionality of the e-scooter. There's so many young people riding them, so I thought, you know, let me try something. There's always that allure of what's new and trendy. If I'm riding something that's new and it catches the eye, but not a lot of people have it, then automatically puts me in a, you know, place where I feel like, oh, I'm pretty cool, do you know what I mean? Or you can understand how youth process these things and really take a liking to it. The fun aspect of it is great when you're indoors all cooched up. Can't go to the club, you can't do anything, you know what I mean, as a youngster. Just go in one of these and that's your club, man. You even got some speakers on some, just bang out your favourite tunes. So as a young Londoner, to go around and be connected through this e-scooter, like you get into the city very, very quickly, and to consider most of the London roads are like 20-mile-per-hour zones, especially in the city. On a scooter, for example, like the E2, like you could go up to 25, that is a massive appeal because like you can compete on the roads, you can get places in a respectable time, and if not, you can just carry this small boy into the tube, continue your journey to wherever you want to get. So I feel like that's a huge reason, a factor behind why these things are really popping, especially in big cities like London.
It's very compatible, especially if you live in a flat where you have to get on the stairs and go upstairs. Then
I mean, the great thing about it is it's super lightweight, it's fast, you can collapse it really quickly.
Having a scooter saved me a lot of money, because without a scooter, I used to get cabs everywhere, like literally everywhere. Because I couldn't be asked to get on the bus, because it's just long waiting for it, and then getting on there, and the bus is stopping every 2 minutes at a bus stop. But when I got a scooter, I can literally wake up 20 minutes before work or before football, whatever, and I'll get there on time, so it saved me a lot of money.
The power is in my hands, you know what I mean? As long as this charged up, the power's in my hands to go where and when I please. With TFL, you simply don't have that. You're bound to someone else's schedule. With this, you're not. So.
For me, it's perfect. Because in night time, I need to wait bus too much. It's long. I can't stay too much to wait bus. I'm going with this.
One of my friends is like opens first thing in the morning his shop, and he just comes with the scooter. He said it saves around half an hour every day.
Yeah. It helps a lot of people get from A to B quickly. Like you can use them on the trains, get to the station quickly. So I think it's a good investment. It benefits a lot of people's lives. So if it's legal, a lot more people will feel comfortable getting them.
It's illegal.
How they're illegal? They're like swagways.
I heard it was illegal, and then suddenly I see more people riding.
So I think that's an issue as well. If people don't know that it's illegal, then obviously it's an issue on part of law enforcement.
And the funny thing is that police aren't really doing anything. So it's kind of on their behalf as well.
I would say legalise them now. Treat them like bicycles. I think we need to regulate for the faster stuff. But for most of the stuff, don't worry about it. We've got speed limits. If somebody's tearing down the street or down the pavement, give them a ticket. And maybe having a provisional driving licence for everyone so you can give someone some points is not a bad idea.
The law becomes irrelevant, as Mark says from PT. It becomes irrelevant when it doesn't mirror, the people's will. And the people's will is to use these things, is to add so much utility to their everyday lives. Until the law mirrors that, I don't think we're really going to be having measures that are appropriate to what e-scooters are bringing, and that's usefulness, utility, and get these things recognised and appreciated, I'd say. Yeah, at the moment I'm a non-driver, so yeah, this is how I get about. Of course, it's not going to work for everyone in terms of totally replacing it. Like a lot of people use scooters to supplement, of course, their driving.
Where I live, there's no parking. I have to park my car quite far away, about almost a mile away. So it's just get into the car, when I park it up, and then being able to scoot back.
I love Hackney Wick, man. It's my second home still. It's such a creative place if you don't know about it here. There's so many kind of industrial warehouses and arty-farty spots where people just make all kind of things, whether it be art, whether it be a painter, whether it be graphic designer, whether it be artist. My route from home to the studio is pretty good as far as scooters go, because there's a huge cycle highway, so the scooters help tremendously to get from my home to the studio in no time, essentially.
But despite the overwhelming positives, one of the big contentions around e-scooters understandably has been about safety. With new forms of travel comes new territory, and with that comes the fear of the unknown.
I think they're dangerous, they're driving the pavements, no crash helmet, no insurance, no L plates, nothing.
I don't really mind if I see them on the road. As long as they're using the safety equipment, like IVs, or they're wearing it and reflectors on their scooter, so it can be easily spotted. Common sense, really. It's I'm out here with my daughter, and it's her first time. So obviously, it's down to me to teach her etiquette within the park and teach her the right way to use it. Because you could say the same thing with cars, motorbikes, cycles.
I think you should run home with anything, if it's a bike or whatever, rollerblades, safety first.
Things have their dangers. I mean, if you ride a Brompton, you hit a pothole, you're going to have a problem. It's pretty similar with a scooter. And also, there are problems. The cycle infrastructure in London is terrible. Pretty much all over the country, it's terrible. And really, to get this stuff safe, you need to separate it from trucks, buses, cars. We need cycle infrastructure.
It's clear that there's a lot that still needs to be done. So what is the future of e-scooters?
There's a huge future for them, man. You see the uptake, there's more uptake, innit? In a COVID world, man, I see these things accelerating in popularity, and definitely see them being a major part of, culture, a larger culture, legitimate, credible ways of getting about.
It could be really good for the community, to be honest. Because I've seen older people riding it, and it must be good because they could be buying cars and stuff, but they're buying a scooter, so.
I think it's a great mode of transport, and I can see it really taken off and been adapted to be used for a lot of other stuff, like maybe even deliveries and stuff like that.
I think micromobility in terms of transport is taking over. The idea that rather than having this massive 2.5-ton tool that's supposed to solve every problem, that we have a plethora of like clothes, different clothes for different things. It'll be the same, like the little lightweight devices that solve problems for you.
Electric scooters have gone from being the niche hobby of tech bros to an incredibly inclusive and viable mode of independent travel. They're fun to ride, they save you time and money, they're emissions free. There's no better way to get across the city, hence growing in popularity so fast despite being illegal. The time has come for our government to accept that e-scooters aren't going anywhere, and actually, the best way to make them safer, both for riders and pedestrians, isn't to outlaw and demonise them. What we need is proper legislation and improved infrastructure. So come on, Boris, just get on with it.